Imagine a world with no stories, no bedtime tales, no legends, no history passed from mouth to mouth, no songs around the fire. That was our world. Until a tiny spider changed everything forever. This is the story of Anansi, and how he outsmarted the most powerful god in the sky to give stories to all of humanity. Long ago, before your grandmother's grandmother was born, before the great kingdoms of Africa rose and fell, there was a time when the world had no stories, no folk tales, no legends, no myths. All the stories in existence were locked inside a golden box, held tightly in the clouds by Nyame, the sky god, the most powerful being in all creation. The animals knew the stories existed. They could feel them the way you feel a song you cannot quite remember, but none dared approach Nyame to ask for them. The lion was proud but afraid. The elephant was wise but hesitant. The eagle was fast but lacked cunning. But deep in the forest, sitting at the center of his web, a small brown spider named Anansi smiled to himself. He was not big. He was not fast. He was not powerful. But Anansi had something none of the other animals possessed in such abundance, a mind that never stopped spinning, just like his web. One morning, Anansi climbed all the way up his thread of silk, past the tallest trees, past the clouds of the rainy season, all the way to the palace of Nyame in the sky. "Sky God," said Anansi, bowing with 8 legs at once, "I have come to buy your stories." Nyame looked down at the tiny spider and laughed, a laugh so deep it shook the clouds and sent rain falling on 3 villages below. "Many great kings have tried to buy my stories," said Nyame. "Warriors with gold, chiefs with cattle, kingdoms with armies. None could pay my price. What could a little spider possibly offer me?" "Name your price," said Anansi simply. Nyame leaned forward, his eyes glowing like stars. "Bring me Onini, the great python, who is longer than any river. Bring me Osebo the leopard, whose spots are made of shadow. And bring me a Moboro, the hornets whose stings can stop the heart of a buffalo. Bring me all 3, and the stories are yours." Nyame expected the spider to flee. Instead, Anansi smiled his 8-eyed smile, turned around, and descended back to earth. Anansi found Onini the python stretched out along a riverbank, longer than any creature on earth, admiring his own magnificent length in the reflection of the water. "Good day, great Onini," said Anansi. "I was just walking with my wife, and we had an argument. She says you are not as long as the palm branch above you. I told her she was wrong." The python hissed with indignation. "Not as long as a palm branch. I am the longest creature alive. Bring your branch. I will show you." And so Anansi cut a long palm branch and laid it beside Onini. "You must lie perfectly straight," said Anansi helpfully. "Otherwise my wife will say the measurement is not fair." And while Onini stretched himself as straight as he could to be measured, Anansi quickly bound him to the branch with silk. Tighter and tighter until the great python could not move. 1 down, 2 to go. Next, Anansi found the hornets buzzing in their nests near a great fig tree. He took a large calabash gourd, filled it with water and poured some over himself. Then he poured some over the hornet's nest. "The rains have come early," he shouted. "Quick, Maboro! The great rains are here! Get inside this gourd before you are all drowned!" And the hornets, trusting the warning, flew into the gourd one by one. When the last one entered, Anansi sealed the top with a leaf of silk. 2 down, 1 to go. Osebo the leopard was the most dangerous, but Anansi had watched leopards his whole life and knew their greatest weakness: curiosity. He dug a deep pit in the forest path where Osebo walked each morning and covered it with branches. That night, Osebo fell in. In the morning, Anansi appeared at the edge of the pit. "Oh, great, Osebo, how terrible! You have fallen into a trap set by humans, but I can help you." Anansi bent a young tree down into the pit. "Grab hold of this tree and I will tie you to it and pull you up." The leopard, desperate to escape, agreed. And as soon as he was tied to the tree, Anansi let the tree spring upward and tied Osebo tight before he knew what had happened. And as he returned to the sky with the python, the hornets, and the leopard, Nyame stared in absolute silence. No king had ever come close. No warrior had managed even one. Yet here was a small spider who had delivered all 3. "Anansi," said Nyame slowly, his voice filled with something he had never felt before, respect for a creature smaller than his thumbnail. "The stories are yours." And from that day forward, all the stories of the world belonged to Anansi, and through him to every person who ever sat around a fire and said, "Let me tell you a story." And that is why, even today, when we gather and say, "Let me tell you a story," we are honoring the little spider who made it possible. If you love this story, subscribe so you never miss another African tale. And comment below, which part was your favorite? I read every single comment.